Hello. 'Tis I, Sherlock Holmes. Oh, I think the Earth just moved. Anyway, welcome for the beginning of the first show of UK month. Mulri-Voice reviewer. If you wonder whatever happened to him, don't worry, he'll be fine. He'll return when August is over. So, if my calculations are correct, I think this will be the first time to do my first Sherlock Holmes review. Now, I am not the first Sherlock Holmes being here in the present time. If I told you about Sherlock Holmes in the present time, what show will you be thinking of? No, not that. Now, if I had this show on DVD, I would do a review of that, but nope, not this one. I'm talking about the most current one. No, not this either. Although I have to say, that Lucy Liu, she looks great. I wouldn't mind having Lucy Liu as my Watson. But no. I'm talking about two movies. One made in 1987, and the other one made in 1993. And the ones I'm going to be talking to you today is none other than The Return of Sherlock Holmes and 1994 Baker Street Sherlock Holmes Returns. There's a fine line difference between these two. I mean, the premise are a little the same, but the style is totally different. The style is definitely different. Elementary, my dear watchers. First, I'm going to talk about the first show, The Return of Sherlock Holmes first, before I get to the other one. The Return of Sherlock Holmes, it all started when some mysterious man who shows up and kills an old man and write down the word called small. And this time in this version, there is Jane Watson, who is a private eye and is a woman. And she inherited the Watson's estate, telling her about a secret compartment in the basement. She went to the secret compartment and found a frozen body of yours truly, Sherlock Holmes. And as Sherlock Holmes was risen from his slumber, he noticed some weird things kept happening. So therefore, Watson and Holmes had decided to work together in order to solve this case. This mysterious case. And if you want to know what they look like, here they are. The guy who played Sherlock Holmes is none other than Michael Pennington, who plays Sherlock Holmes. And the woman who played Jane Watson is Margaret Culling as Watson. And as it turns out that there was 4 people who were double-crossing each other over the forgery and the hidden of real money. And there's a guy who is interested in Watson, and he's a private eye. And much to their surprise, Sherlock Holmes had woken from his slumber in order to solve a mystery in the present time. And of course, one thing I do have to say, there are some really funny scenes inside. Like one scene I thought it was so hilarious in this movie that he was trying to find some books for him to read, so he found an adult bookstore. And she said, that is an adult bookstore. And he said, why, yes, I'm an adult, so I'll go in. And as he goes in, he came out with a shocked look on his face. All in all, The Return of Sherlock Holmes, 1987, was really dang good. You can find it on YouTube and enjoy it. Now let's get to the other one. The one that Mulri-Voice reviewer, and of course yours truly, is a little better. The other movie I announce, 1994 Baker Street, Sherlock Holmes Returns. And this one took a different turn. And of course, here are the two characters in this movie. The actor who played Sherlock Holmes is Anthony Higgins. And of course, this Watson is a woman, and she's a medical doctor, but she goes by a different name. Dr. Amy Wenshaw. And the lovely actress who plays Dr. Wenshaw is, of course, Deborah Valentino. No relations to Rudolph Valentino, that's for sure. But in this version, there's a new descent of the Moriarty family who is more evil, and he keeps on killing cops who is on his trail with tigers involved. First murder was a tiger, ordinary tiger, and another one was from a piranha, a tiger piranha, and then a tiger beetle, and then a tiger snake. So now Holmes had to figure out, he figures out that that last cop who is on his trail is kidnapped and about to get murdered. So now Holmes needs to figure out how to find him and save him, and also try to put the last descendant of the Moriarty family behind bars the way the rest of the Moriarty should be in. And this one has a lot more humor than the other one. And believe it or not, the actor who played Holmes, Anthony Higgins, he played the bad guy in Young Sherlock Holmes. He was in Young Sherlock Holmes playing the bad guy. As you can see from the back right here, that's him. So I guess he played the bad guy in Sherlock Holmes and promoted himself to play Sherlock Holmes in this one. So, take it from me, if you like to watch some movies where Sherlock Holmes was into slumber and woke up in the present time, check out the 1983's Return of Sherlock Holmes, or the 1993 Sherlock Holmes Returns. They're very entertaining, and you can find them on YouTube. And I know what you're thinking. What if Sherlock Holmes had woken up into the future? Of course, I remember this cartoon series, but I seem to like it. Even though it is based by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's books, but set in the 22nd century. That's right. So what I'm going to tell you is Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century. And if you want to know who does the voice of Sherlock Holmes, it is Jason Gray-Stanford. For those of you who don't know him, he was in that TV series called Monk. You know, that mystery series that is similar to Sherlock Holmes, except Monk has OCD. And the cartoon series only lasted about 3 seasons. Of course, in this future, Moriarty has returned, but not the real Moriarty as they thought. This Moriarty is a clone. And Watson is an android, and the person who woken him in the 22nd century is none other than the Inspector Beth Lestrade, another descendant of the Lestrade family. Of course, I found this disc on DVD. Not bad, but not the original story. I mean, not the one from the first, second, and third, where it involves Holmes woken from his slumber, a robot who turned into Watson, and figuring out that Moriarty was a clone. I guess for the fans, even though Sherlock Holmes is gone in the Victorian era, but people want him to return in the present era. And if you want me to talk about Elementary and Sherlock, I need to get Sherlock on DVD so I can see those two and have my conclusion about it. But all is not lost. So if you watchers like this so-called YouTube thing, please leave a so-called comment down below. And if you want to see more, you can subscribe and hit like on it, or whatever you 21st century people do here. But I will return. Sorry this video is kind of short, but I just wanted to review this before I reviewed the great one of all, and I think this one's going to be a lot longer. I'm going to review the greatest mystery that I ever solved. The Hound of the Baskerville. So, if you don't mind, the game is afoot, watchers, and I need to solve the case of the Hound in the present time. It always got to do with the mythological legend of the Hellhound, or the Hound of Hell. So, if you excuse me. Roar!